The next part is this. Anaheim, California is due for a major earthquake. The last time I spoke of Anaheim was in July 29th, 2024. And again, the Lord brought the same prophecy, 2024, September the 21st. And what God said from then, back then, is he kept repeating Anaheim, Anaheim. The name kept coming up into my spirit until finally I sat, because it would just come up and then I would wait and he wouldn't say anything, but I know, okay, then a message is coming. And when the message came, God was saying that Anaheim has a lot of affluence, it has a lot of money, but it also has a very false and caustic form of religion, a false Christianity. And he said that that place is a place where they cover up gross sexual sins, where the girls and the boys become sexually active very early, and yet they will still go into the churches and have their confirmations and put their little chains on their neck and then be sleeping around at age 14, at age 15 with anyone, he said. So there's no age limit. Boys of their own age, older men, gym teachers, wealthy men, it doesn't matter. Running after pastors, what have you. And he said that the boys, seeing that the girls are so loose and available, they readily work their way through everyone that they can, because he said the young men in Anaheim know that they're supposed to grow up and take one wife and raise up so-called respectable families. You hear God talking about a community like that, you know that's the community of the wife swap. You know that's a community of swingers. People who are sexually promiscuous, their souls are chopped up. They're never satisfied with one person. That's because they're filled with all slivers of the past memories and past lovers. They're full of that. It causes restlessness in the soul. You can't settle down. You can't be faithful. Your mind is always wandering, and you're always looking at the next person and wondering, what do they look like with no clothes? That's what sexual immorality gets you. It gets you into a spiritual tizzy. It feels like the fizzing of Coca-Cola in the beginning, but you shall be destroyed of it. Anaheim, California is due for a major earthquake. I spoke of this. God said that Anaheim is full of sin and that Anaheim is going to receive a major shaking. And what he said in that prophecy was that they're due for a shaking. And when they get shaken, the foundations in Anaheim will be exposed. And he said, you will see some interesting things. He said that there's going to be a major human trafficking scandal in Anaheim and that a big name was going to be named. Now hear what God is saying. God says that a major earthquake. So now he's clarifying that the shaking is not just going to be by the exposure of a scandal, but it's also a major earthquake that's going to come to Anaheim, California. And he said it's going to be as a result of a domino effect off the San Andreas Fault. Now, Anaheim isn't sitting directly on or near the San Andreas, but if you will remember in the series of prophecies that are called Prepare for Level 10, God said that a very strange phenomenon is going to happen in America. Places that have never flooded, that America says can never flood. There's not enough rain there. That place is going to flood. He said that places that have no known earthquake faults are going to start pinging off places that are known, like the San Andreas and the New Madrid. And they're going to start having major earthquakes or semi-major earthquakes in places that they're absolutely not supposed to have it. So God says, as a result of a domino effect, meaning a springboard or something happens and then it causes something else to fall. As a result of a domino effect from the San Andreas fault line, Anaheim is going to have a major earthquake, he says, that will destroy that area and bring many things to the surface. Many buried things. Please listen to this prophecy. Many buried things will surface in that earthquake, and people will see what type of evil lies beneath the cleaner streets of the United States. So obviously Anaheim is a wealthy area. They probably have tree-lined streets. They probably have street washers. They probably have better neighborhood services than they would put in other areas. These closed neighborhoods have an elite form of human trafficking. They move children in the broad daylight hours in tours and rides and excursions, and no one ever sees it. But with light, you are going to see everything that America does. With light, the darkness is humbled. With light, the truth is revealed. You will see everything that Anaheim is so proud of and doing in the daylight. Light is different from daylight. And I will expose the seat of corruption of what goes on among the elites who think I am sleeping. Some of you already know what God is talking about. The Lord says elite form of human trafficking. He says children are being moved in broad daylight, but then he doesn't say in the back of unmarked vans. He says the children are being moved in broad daylight in the open. They're being moved in tours and rides and excursions. The original Disneyland sits in Anaheim, California, opened in 1955. The original first Walt Disney, When You Wish Upon a Star. It's the oldest Disneyland in the country. I think the next one is the one that was opened in 1962. Rides, tours, excursions. So not every child in Disneyland going through those rides and staying in those hotels is a free child with a mommy and a daddy. I'm going to shake the place, God is saying in the first prophecy, And he said, you will see what's under the foundation. Magic Mountain? Tunnels, perhaps? Like Epstein Island? Earthquake happens and then you see what's under their foundations. This was said a year ago. But now he's also saying earthquake, major shaking, many buried things. I'm going to destroy that area and I'm going to bring many things to the surface. This could be tangibly bringing things from under the ground to the surface. And people say, what are these underground cars and all this and children's mattresses and all that? That could be one. But also bringing things to the surface means revealing secret things, hidden things, things that are well protected, things that in America traditionally they throw millions and billions of dollars at keeping the human trafficking quiet. You know, you can't just traffic children through the Oval Office and have that everywhere. You can't just have that public. You have to gaslight the public that we don't do such things. We don't have the little swirly pedophile symbols. We don't call little children, little boys, hot dogs and little girls pizza because of the shape of their genitals. I mean, the FBI has a code for that, but that's nothing to do with us as the rich. That's just the FBI's way of doing things. And it continuously, those symbols pop up in our pictures and pop up on old pictures of our own children as the elites. Picture of Drew Barrymore is doing the rounds next to some decrepit 200-year-old man who's supposed to be her grandfather. The child is wearing a little cooking hat and an apron, just happy to be in a picture with her grandfather. The problem is that the apron and the cooking hat she's wearing are covered with the pedophile symbols. You make it make sense. America, you know what? Your pride is going to kill you. You're literally going to call the death of your children conspiracy theories until these children start talking. And they're talking now as adults, some of them. They hate you, some of them, because you slept through their entire molestation history. And the greater population, it's a conspiracy. Buried things will surface in that earthquake, God says. And the country, people in America are going to actually see what kind of evil is lurking on America's cleaner streets. So it's easy to talk about the evil that's lurking in the ghettos, lurking in the minority neighborhoods, but who ever looks at Connor and Becky and their children? Why would Connor and Becky traffic their children? Why would Connor and Becky sleep with their children except that they're massive ritualists in the upper crust of the United States? That's where that little girl went. John Benet Ramsey, she's nothing but a casualty of the crustiness of the rich men at the top who like to sleep with their own children, traffic their own children, work their own children through the genitals of adults. I swap my kid, you swap yours. I covered all of this in I think it was in 2020. It was called What You Never Heard Before, Part 1, where I was talking about the political families. And God was saying, when you see them sitting on the cover of Politico now, smiling, because dad just became a governor, God says it's hard to find a person in that picture who hasn't been touched